Do you believe you're related to a comic book character? Could you become Superman or Wonder Woman? I believe you can if you choose the right path. Comic books are a reflection of our culture and our history. Today I'm going to show you and give you some examples of how comic book characters and stories are reflected from our society, from the past and to now. It would all not have happened if it wasn't for these men, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, who created Captain America and many other great characters, as well as Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, who started it all. And they would spark the golden age of comic books. It all started back in the 1930s when the world was filled with fear and the Great Depression had hit the United States. Before then, there were no superheroes. It was just Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster in Cleveland, Ohio, and they would have the opportunity to be employed by DC Comics and create Superman. According to New Garden, America's favorite hero was an immigrant, and it showed and gave something that the American people had not felt in such a long time: hope. And once the 1940s came around and the United States was involved in the war, they used those comic books as propaganda. According to Scrogan, comic books displayed patriotism to an extent of an extreme. And it was proven because the money was there and used to help the American people. And Jack Kirby would be inspired by Superman as well. He would create his own character that everyone would know, Captain America. Captain America was the face of the red, white, and blue, and the American way. Once the war was over and they returned, the war stories were no longer entertaining to readers. So Jack Kirby and Stan Lee teamed up to create other characters of different demographics and different backgrounds, such as Thor, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and many more to come. All that started from the inspiration given from Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Because of that, it showed that there could be diversity amongst heroes and relate to many different readers. Now that I've shown you examples of how Superman became an icon of the world, now I'm going to give you some examples of both historical controversial issues that sparked more characters and more stories to come out in our time. The Civil Rights Movement was a very tragic and crazy time in our history. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby decided that they needed to make a change for the readers to show that they supported what was going on. So they created the X-Men. One man with a group of mutants that were born differently wanted peace amongst humanity. The other did not and would go to extremes. And they reflected Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Stan Lee once said that those stories have room for everyone regardless of race, gender, and religion. And it proved once they created more characters, such as one of the first religious characters, Daredevil. They would later on create the first black superhero that people would come to love and see as one of the best, Black Panther. A king from a foreign country with riches and technology beyond imagination. Once that popularity of the Black Panther came out, DC had to fire back and create the Black Lightning, another popular character, as well as John Stewart, the Green Lantern. And Marvel then became more diverse as well, introducing Goliath, Luke Cage, and the Falcon. The Falcon would later become the new Captain America. Once that was done, independent publishers started to focus on, and they did as well, to focus on other stories and controversial issues around you, because writers have to be creative. So one of the many things that they focused on was drugs. It was a pandemic in society at one point, and also mental health. Superheroes were not safe from mental health. They face tragedies just like us. So in reality, these stories are not fictional. They are based off of something real that everyone sees. One of the more prominent ones that has proven an example is this, Undiscovered Country. It is a story about an isolated America that has been isolated from the world for 30 years with the virus. reminds us of now. Now that I've given you that, I would like to end this quote by Stan Lee. That person who helps others, regardless of anything, solely because it is the right thing to do, is in fact a real superhero.